Welcome to the People's Guild.
Each week we explore the Splinterland universe with guests from all across the mythical land of Praetoria.
Join us on our journey as we discuss the evolution of the game, the strategy, the lore, and the exciting path that lies ahead.
To support the People's Guild, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts, and also check us out on PeakD, YouTube, and Twitter.
To send your questions, suggestions, and epic battles in our comments through Twitter or email at thepeoplesguildspl@gmail.com. We'll feature the best in our episodes and maybe airdrop you some prizes. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the People's Guild. Another week, another episode, another great guest. A man that you know from across YouTube. He's here week in, week out, delivering market watch videos, whether you're keeping an eye on cards dating all the way back to alpha promos, or watching the land market. This guy's got something for you. Was an absolute pleasure getting joined by this guy on the Influencer Town Hall last week. It's honestly, it's kind of hard to believe that was just a few days ago. Time just seems to disappear. We were looking forward to the pre-sale at that moment in time, and here we are, pre-sale fully underway. But without further ado, we got Gathering the Magic. What is up, dude? Wonderful to officially meet you, formally welcome you to the People's Guild.
Well, glad to be here, everyone. Just want to say greetings, owners of fine luxury digital rectangles. How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone at least saved me a few packs on the pre-sale. Hopefully it didn't sell out.
Sold
Just got
out,
home
man.
from work.
Done.
So
sold out
it's
in an
done?
hour.
Okay.
It's done. Sold out in an hour.
What's the next set?
What's the next set? Bingo, bango, bongo, dude. That's what it's called.
Bippity boppity boopity.
Yeah, man. You heard it here first. Pre-sale is sold out. Go home, pack your bags. It's on to the next one. But yeah, welcome to the People's Guild Gathering. Long time fan. Tune into a lot of your videos. You've been a pretty much regular staple on Dwayne's channel. I try and catch most of your casual chats with Dwayne. And for some reason, we just never really crossed paths until this past week. I'm glad it happened, and glad you're here, man. Thank you for taking time out of the day.
Yeah, glad to be here too. I've been wanting to talk to you guys for quite a while, so glad we could finally make it happen.
Wonderful. So you missed the entire pre-sale thus far. You were telling us off air that you had to be reporting for duty probably 15, 20 minutes, or you had to leave 15 or 20 minutes before the pre-sale started. You literally just walked in the door from your shift and hopped on with us. So let's hear your initial reactions here, Gathering. I mean, is this kind of what you were seeing in your crystal ball in terms of initial sales and DEC totals that are going to the company, to the DAO?
Well, let's see. So how many have we sold so far? So standard out of 500,000, we've sold, what, 60 some?
Yep, almost 70,000. Yep. Alchemy,
Okay. Whoa.
30,000.
Okay, so 30% of alchemy is gone. All right.
Yep. And legendary 12,
Maybe
13, 14%, something like that.
Okay. Not a bad first day. I was trying to run the numbers in my head while I was at work, with Rebellion being 500,000 and then having 500,000 standard packs here for Conclave Arcana. But then when you factor in the two new packs that have never been sold before at a higher price point, I was kind of wondering how many of the whales are going to go for those legendary alchemy and not scoop up, 3, 4, 5,000 or more standard packs. So it looks like it's fairly balanced, but definitely it looks like a little bit more for the alchemy, which is some of the packs that I wanted to target.
Yep. Higher black foil chance on the alchemy packs. That's quite the incentive, and half the price of the legendary packs, I believe, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big thing. We should also yell out that Yabba Matt burned over 4 million SPS today himself. Big shout out for that. That's a big move right there, man.
So I see
that is a big move, man.
I see some familiar names on the leaderboard. It looks like Brave Tofu, Criff Mancer, Yaba. So where's Jeff opens cards? Trash Panda,
A Brockman. Yeah.
Brockman.
Yeah.
Oh, YGG, that was not there earlier. Nice to see
Pool.
they're
They
back
probably
in
did the
the,
pool. Yeah.
yeah, they're
I think I
going
was
for
listening to
Nidhogger round two.
I was listening to Level Up Life. He was doing a podcast over on X earlier today, and he was talking about how YGG was staying pretty quiet, and he was wondering if they were going to jump in. It looks like they definitely did.
Yeah, I think as part of the YGG SPL crew, there had kind of it had been quiet leading up to I want to say probably mid to late last week, and all of a sudden there seemed to be a ton of interest kind of coming out of the woodwork, and AJPL I think helps to coordinate this stuff. He was the major driver with the pool buy last year. So yeah, I think all three of us here are play testers. We've heard that Nidhogger has gotten a little bit of love from Conclave Arcana. Uh, I think the YGG crew that bought in on Rebellion and therefore secured the rights to designing Nidhogger are going to be pleasantly surprised. Granted, it took a little while for it to happen, but Keelan Gaines, and then there's a couple of cards in Conclave that are right up Nidhogger's alley. And yeah, hopefully they feel some vindication there, because I certainly do. I reach for Nidhogger probably more than any other summoner in testing. It's a lot of fun. So glad to see that confidence in Splinterlands is returning to some degree.
So overall, you pretty happy with how the set is designed? I haven't gotten a whole lot of chance to play test, basically just kind of give an overview for the cards, but it sounds like you've done a lot more of the testing than me.
I have done a lot of testing. Shout out to my boy Mondroid. I think we've probably played, gosh, I don't even want to put a number on it, 1,000 matches. We'll just crush matches for a couple hours at a time, and hop into either
In the chat. Yeah.
into the chat, yeah, and shoot the breeze. And man, that's something. But before I answer your question, that I do want to say that is something that I feel like we are sorely missing in Splinterlands. Like, could you imagine
Ooh,
if
yeah.
we had, if Gathering, you could hop in, set up a challenge room in game, and drop the link into Discord or on YouTube or whatever, and then all of a sudden people can hop in there, do microphone chat. It sets up appropriate viewer, kind of observer role, and then it will automatically queue battles just one after another. You just raise up your hand and get in line, sort of thing, and winner stays or whatever. That bringing that social element to the community testing has just been so much fun. Like, one of us will just hop on and share screen, and there's like 3 or 4 or 5 guys hanging out in the community tester chat, just talking shop with the game, talking about some of the cards, talking about what's happening in tavern, just very casual hangout. But integrating that social element, I feel like is a very sorely missed bit. Especially, we continue to see conversation around bots and that sort of stuff. I think this is how we can help overcome and surpass the bot conversation by reintroducing the very human element of Splinterlands. Because at the end of the day, I know all of us have shared in one capacity or another. This community is freaking awesome. Like, I've met some very, very cool people, and I'd love to just like hang out and play some cards. That's what it comes down to.
I wonder if that's something that they have on their roadmap for maybe later this year, is something to add to the game would be, just like an in-game chat where, you can, get a friends list, connect with people, see who's on, send messages. They don't have to be like global broadcast, but you could still, link up with friends, send challenges, invite them to guilds, that type of thing. I'm surprised that hasn't been added to the game yet.
Well, we know that brawls and guilds are a major sticking point, right? And I think that data was only revealed after the glint shop came in, and therefore merits were much easier to come by. So that kind of removes merits from the equation as to directly impacting stickiness to the degree that I think it used to. So the only thing that leaves open in my mind is the social element, the community element. Like you find a crew of good buddies, and there's that sense of camaraderie and hang out and chat. So it feels like that's a very natural next evolution of Splinterlands.com. And yeah, I hope you're right, man. I would love to see that sort of thing come in before the end of the year, and it feels like that lends itself really well to new player experience, right? Like imagine Tofu setting up a guild with all of his ambassador program and being able to invite all of these brand new folks, hop into chat, do like a group, how to
Yeah, group tutorial.
sample, yeah, exactly. Sample some particular rule sets with the kitchen table game mode. Test out some new cards. It feels like that is the next evolution that I think we need in terms of ramping up new player experience.
In the past, I know the concern was expressed about bad actors, on a group a chat type thing. But I guess if you have a friends list and everyone has to be vetted and approved, that could negate that, as opposed to just having a tavern type situation where anyone could jump in.
How much merit do you give that argument, though? I mean, I feel like, maybe it's not quite as, the
Yeah, I don't know,
jurisdiction
man.
of Discord
You got to
is
think
much
about.
easier to monitor, right? But
Yeah, I'm picturing, they're saying like there's a game and you got a bunch of kids playing and then some, bad actor jumps in, some random dude, that there could be, situations. But again, if you may have communities and whitelist, you have invites and friends, you could negate that. And maybe just having a general chat room is not the way to go. I understand their concern. Especially in the age where a lot of the legal responsibility falls on the provider of the service as opposed to the people actually doing the bad things.
mm.
So
Well,
there's
something
a
to
little
consider.
tricky. I would love to see it, honestly. And again, if you just have it so your guild, everyone in your guild has access, or anyone you invite, there's definitely ways around just having random people jumping in and causing trouble.
Yeah, I do feel like that's a little bit of an easy way to deny the whole system change.
Maybe that was the excuse for not doing work.
Maybe. Or just bigger fish to fry. I understand it, but I do think moving forward, having witnessed how much fun it actually is, just
Oh,
having
awesome.
that little group chat, and you don't even have to be participating really. You could just come out and hang out and chat, right? Like if you're sitting in the
Yeah.
car or doing work in the office or whatever, just toss on your headphones and listen to some commentary. And who
I've
knows
been doing
like
more of
the
that now.
byproduct of content creators, right? Like you might find that actually you're a really naturally gifted commentator of Splinterlands battles. And hey, like maybe I should take this to YouTube, or maybe I should set up a Twitch channel.
Absolutely. No, it's a great addition. It would take the game itself to the next level. No doubt.
Yeah. I love bringing the human element back as much as possible. Well, before that little tangent gathering, you asked about the set as a whole, the cohesiveness, the play, the synergies, yada yada. I feel like this set is more cohesive than anything we've ever seen in the past. There's layers the which we've also never seen in sets from the past. The level of detail and interaction between cards and races, and as soon as you start introducing your rebellion summoners and have access to multiple elements to bring to the table that are otherwise unavailable through racial synergies. There's just the combinations that you're now able to put together, and the strategies that come out of that it is an absolute blast. The new modern is going to be so much fun to be a part of. I'm very much looking forward to it.
It's
Yeah,
literally a game changer.
yep.
Badaboosh.
I still think for Rebellion, people talk how it was like an underpowered set, but I think they're overlooking the power of dual summoners, even the commons. The ability to pull in that many of extra cards in a match, even the common ones that don't give any, tactics or abilities, I think is huge. And I think a lot of people have overlooked those. I think those are key, especially for people that are like me, that they don't play max decks. They play at silver, they play at gold. Yeah, don't overlook any dual summoners.
Oh,
Man,
yeah, that's an ability in itself. Summoning
exactly.
2 hours. Yeah.
Exactly. And people just dismiss that, right? Because it's a 3 mana common summoner. The the fact that you can call on 2 different elements at once, that is the ability, right? Like
Yeah, that's huge. That's freaking huge.
it's
Yeah.
huge. Yeah. Well, Gathering, I know for a long time you were really looking forward to, and myself as well, uh, the alternate dual elements coming into play with Conclave Arcana. Obviously, that hasn't come to fruition. They chose a different path in terms of kind of expanding what's available to players through the summoners or the archons. I feel like it was a very elegant pivot and a a brilliant move without doubling down on the dual elements. I wonder where are your thoughts on, are you disappointed? Are you excited? Do you feel like it was a right move? Should we see dual elements in the next set post Conclave Arcana?
I'm not really disappointed. It was something that I was kind of wondering if they were going to do it or not, to just kind of, I always think of Magic the Gathering where they're just like enemy colors and allied colors. So I was wondering if they were going to do the enemy, but they may do that with the next set. Who knows, and kind of tie that in. It'll be interesting to see if, 2, 3 sets down the road, if they're going to even have any dual element cards, or if that's just kind of the phase that we're in now. But yeah, not disappointed. Just, they went a different direction.
It's a
Yeah.
big
Yeah,
value for Rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. And I'm still of the belief that kind of takes away from the dragon thing. It really does.
Oh, you're absolutely right. 100% does. I mean, Dragon historically has been the most expensive mana cards, probably the higher degree of legendaries versus all the rest. Uh,
Oh, yeah. I don't even think there are commons. There might be like 1 or 2. Everything's like epic, legendary. Couple rares here or there, but yeah.
yeah. And now
It's
that you can pull legendaries and epics from multiple splinters, it's yeah. I mean, it makes total sense. I had never quite considered it that was why, or at least a big contributing factor to why Dragon wasn't as much of a staple in the meta as it has been in the past. But I think that's part of the equation. Part of the equation is the Kane is a little niche. He's great in certain positions. Nidhogger, I mean, we all know where I previously stood on Nidhogger. He was a little bit of a stinker, but he has since found vindication, and he's getting ready to get set free. And I think we're going to see Dragon come back in a really, really big way.
So how do you think Rebellion prices are going to go moving forward? I've heard both, sides of the argument, where everyone's going to go heavy on Conclave Arcana and just kind of ignore Rebellion. Or do you think that people are going to, once they get their hands on Conclave Arcana, say, hey, you know what? I was wrong about Rebellion. There are some real key cards here that I need to add to my deck. I hadn't planned on purchasing any, but now I think I'm going to go heavy into Rebellion. And there's not a lot of Rebellion packs that are left unopened. I think last I checked, there's just a little over 60,000. Which isn't very many, and especially considering this is a modern set, and if we get a lot of people coming in with the new player experience, there's not going to be a lot of packs for them to open.
Yeah, definitely not. No, I mean, Rebellion, it really, unless there's some horrible catastrophe and we lose players, which I don't see. I see the opposite happening. The Rebellion can only go up, especially it's got another cycle in modern, and it's arguably underprinted. It was printed to demand at the time, and demand was low. I don't see how Rebellion could really go down, honestly, at this point.
Not to mention conflicts, right? Conflicts honor Rebellion for another cycle, which is huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Huge. Yeah, I don't see it there being any possible way that Rebellion does not appreciate from here. Playing Conclave in the new modern, your staples are still, well, I don't want to say staples. There's a lot of core cards that are pretty much must have from Rebellion as they interact with the Conclave stuff. Uh, Commander Slade is one of them. Granted, he's a Rebellion reward card, but I don't want to spill the beans too much. I don't want to get an email saying, "Hey, thanks for your service. You're done with community testing."
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Rebellion. There's definitely, especially the legendary summoners, man. I feel like every single one of them. We talked about Squirrel on the town hall last week. EMP is another one that gets a huge leg up. There was a card. I forget who it was that revealed it, but it's one of my personal favorites from the Conclave set. It's the Caravan Guard. It's a
Oh,
life,
yeah.
three
Yep.
mana, triage, echo, something else, headwinds maybe? Headwinds, yes. And you toss that card in with EMP, all of a sudden he's double triage, double cleanse, double repair. Absolute monster. So there's
Crazy. Yeah.
it's crazy. And he's a common card. That would be another black foil that I would love to get my hands on, by the way. Um, but yeah, so EMP, Squirrel both leveled up big time. Nidhogger as well. So I feel like, Cryptic remains just as viable. Tofu is still very powerful, but more balanced because the other summoners have been leveled up. Lorcus is still very strong. So I feel like there's a much greater sense of power parity across all the legendary summoners. And it remains to be seen what direction the team's going to go with the legendary summoners for this batch. But as we've seen with sets past, it's the legendary summoners from the previous set in modern really kind of reign supreme until the new ones come in to kind of usurp the throne.
So you're saying the legendary summoners from Rebellion are underpriced? I think they are. Even the ones that are 20, $30, I think are underpriced. Because look at the print. Look at the print run. How many are actually in circulation? There's not a lot. Like Jimmy was saying, Rebellion was very, very underprinted. Print to demand when demand was low. We get a huge influx of players, and they're all fighting over the same legendary summoners for their decks. There's not a lot to go around.
Undervalued? I think yes. I mean, I'm looking
Yeah.
at the market right now, and Tofu is the only one in excess of $30. Tofu's damn near double that at 59 plus for a single BCX, but um, everybody else is under 30, and half of them are under 20.
And
So
how many are for sale? Let's say we get 30 people in, just 30, that come in and say, "Hey, I want to buy a max level deck. I want max level summoners across the board.
No
11
dice.
BCX of each. Good luck."
No
30.
dice.
30, maybe even 15. I don't think there's even 15 people that could go in and get max level summoners. That's what I've been talking about forever. Everybody is stuck in the now, looking at the player base now. They're so used to just being a handful of cards on the market, and there's always a handful of cards on the market. Guys, you're going to come into the market 6 months from now, maybe 9 months from now, and you're going to look for cards, and there's going to be like, what, 24 legendary summoners or 24 legendary cards, and maybe there's only 6 on the market. The other 18, there's nothing, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what happened to the market? I mean, that's what I see happening by the end of the year is you're not going to see even one of each card on the marketplace. And as soon as one's listed, because the argument always is, well, people will just list more. Well, to a certain point, and probably as soon as they list them, they're going to come right back down. Someone's going to snag them because it's the only one available. There's not going to be like, oh, fighting over price. When you only have one card out there and somebody wants it, they're going to buy it.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
we just need the new players, because to be fair, it's been a 3 year now. When you say
Yeah.
we're looking at how it is now. So,
Hmm.
people are, a little, yeah, and we're definitely on the right trajectory to be seeing that happening, if all goes well and according to plan.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was just looking as an example, Squirrel, there's 40 BCX on the market. Nidhogger, there's I think I saw there's 72 BCX on the market. Cryptic, very similar story. There's 44 BCX on the market. So we're talking 4 to 6 max
Yeah.
summoners of three guys that are most definitely going to be, central in the new modern.
And the
Um,
thing is, with only 60 some thousand packs, there's not a lot more that are going to come to the market.
No,
You know,
especially and conflicts again, keeping that
Mhm.
keeping those off the market.
Yep.
Even rental market. I mean, conflicts that kind of stifles the whole rental market too. The cards locked in conflicts are just not available.
I really like the conflict system. It's such a simple way to solve the issue that we saw with Chaos Legion. Uh, I don't know. Gathering, were you here for Untamed? When did you arrive?
It was July of 21, so I think it was after Untamed, I remember. I think my wife and I joined the day before the SPS airdrop. So
Oh,
we had like almost perfect timing. So we were
serendipity.
there right at the beginning.
Nice. Jimmy, did they do the Untamed airdrop the same way as Chaos Legion? I'm assuming they did, but I have no
Yeah,
idea.
it went by, yeah, definitely how many packs you purchased on your
Hmm,
account. That's how you got the airdrops. You definitely had people cycling that way. And yeah, I think the conflicts is an excellent way to solve that problem. It's not how many you bought, it's how many you still have. What are you holding right now
and
that
staking.
determines your airdrop?
Yeah,
Yeah, and staking. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we're all excited for the conflicts, and I think for a first pass last set with Rebellion, they knocked it out of the park. Like I loved the little lore
Mhm.
clips and the animated story to go along with it,
Oh,
and we're
and we heard
traveling
from
around.
Nate. Well, we heard from Nate that that was just a fraction of what was actually created, too.
Yeah, yeah,
That there's actually, I want to see that come to life eventually. Let's see the full story. Bust
totally.
it
That
out.
that is the main missing piece of Splinterlands right there is the lore, the animations, the cutscenes, campaign mode, PvE mode, whatever you want to call it. Splinterlands to me has always been I mean, I haven't played a ton of like video games, but the ones that I have played and really enjoyed, you're playing against a game. The PvP element is there, but it's kind of minor. It's kind of in the background. And I think Splinterlands has a huge opportunity if they want to really grow and reach the masses. To me, PvE is a must. You have to have a game where it doesn't matter match liquidity. It doesn't matter how many people are playing. You don't have to play against bots. You're just playing a game and you're getting immersed in the lore, immersed in the art, immersed in the storytelling. You're learning how to battle. Eventually, maybe you're doing boss fights. Maybe it could open an achievement system for going, and completing a campaign at different difficulty levels. I know they're in the beginning stages of campaign mode. They've talked about it for the new player experience and, having a new player or a campaign mode just for existing players, veterans like us. And I think when that piece rolls out, it's just going to take off. And I think that's when you're really going to see, a lot of new players come in and stick. They're going to get hooked. They're going to get hooked with the characters. They're going to get hooked with the storyline. They're going to have their own avatar. They're going to have their own achievements that, separate them from the pack. You'll have glamour. So, their avatar will look different from everyone else's. And that's the part that I'm really excited about going forward with Splinterlands is when that rolls out. Because I think when PvE comes out, there's really no stopping this game.
Oh, yeah. And can you see our screens right now? Do you see the background that
Yeah.
we both have?
Yep.
That is,
I
did you
had it
see the
first.
animation? Uh,
I had it first.
ah, mine's a better screenshot. A little further on, there's more fire going on. Look at that. That's rage. You do have it first. You beat me to it. Let's be fair there. But what Gather, did you see that in the Discord, the full animated GIF when it was dropped?
Yeah, I did. And it blew me away. That's
Yeah,
what we
I mean,
need.
I'm picturing that in a PvE where you're that little mage and you walk up and boom, like you're approaching this tower and boom, all on the screen, all of a sudden there's this GIF, boom, here's the live action of what you are experiencing in your campaign at the moment. That
And,
stuff sprinkled through. There it is moving. Yeah,
yeah.
it's absolutely amazing.
Well, that's one of the missing pieces too in Splinterlands. It's like, where are you? Like me, my main account, my character is Jovac. It's like, where's Jovac in the game? Where's his picture? Where's his, stats? Where's his armor, whatever you want to call it, achievements, everything. It's like that's something that needs to be in the game. Is you. People want to have their own personal avatar with their own, special armor, special weapon, all that. You can have them have a picture of your avatar, and then you'll have a list of like all your archons underneath. That's part of your army, and there's just so much that they can do with it.
Completely agree,
Yeah.
man. I wonder, what kind of development lift is all of that? I have to imagine that over the years, the team has, probably thought through what a lot of this stuff looks like. I remember Nate talking specifically about the idea of maybe it was reputation that's tied to players or to players battle mage or summoner, whatever it's being called these days. Do you guys remember
Sounds
the
familiar.
conversation around reputation and reputation being a byproduct of stuff like your win-loss record, your tournament standing, your guild allegiance, your guild alliance, all that sort of stuff coming into play? Do you guys remember that chat?
I remember it. I remember it only in passing that it was mentioned briefly, but then I don't think it was ever revisited. But I think that would be kind of a good idea, something to look at. Wouldn't it be cool if you had like a set of cards that came out and it was based on, let's say, 100 card set, and it was the top 100 people in the game. They don't have to spend a ton of money. They have to be involved with the game, and maybe they have the most achievements. So it's like if you're someone that plays every day, you've unlocked all kinds of achievements, even if you're not a diamond champ player, even if you're bronze silver, if you're engaged with the community and, growing your account, you could maybe be that one in 100 people that gets a card in Splinterlands. How cool would that be?
It'll be awesome. That's some
Yeah, I
good
love that
motivation
idea.
there too. Good marketing, good everything. That's
Agreed.
a feel good there.
Yeah, a feel good thing, just something to get the community to be involved where it's, somebody's like, hey, you know what? I can't spend thousands of dollars, but I love the game. I'm going to play every day. I'm going to unlock these achievements. I'm going to get as far as I can in the campaigns. And when that next some set comes out, I'm going to be one of those 100 people and I'm going to design my own card. That's going to be cool.
Well, you can't spend thousands of dollars, but you could spend thousands of hours. And if
Hmm.
you that Far Side cartoon where Einstein is on the chalkboard and he proves that time equals money.
Nice. Shout out Gary Larson. Far Side.
Oh,
That's, early. My early days of youth were spent nose deep in Gary Larson
Oh,
books.
he was great. Yeah, he was very
Legend.
fantastic. Do you remember that Einstein man, where he's looking at the chalkboard? He's just sitting there with his hands on his hips, and on the thing, it's all these equations. Right in the middle, it says time equals and then dollar sign,
Yep.
which is true.
I'm looking at it now.
Classic.
But yeah, man. I mean, I would argue that of course we need the whales. The whales.
Hell yeah.
The whales are that is a group of the community that allowed for us to perpetuate through the bottom of. I don't know if 2024 was the low or if 2023 was the low, but there was a low somewhere in that 24-month range of probably late 2022 to late 2024, and the whales they kept the game alive. They are
They
the
kept
reason
us
that we
going.
are. Yeah, they are the reason that we are still alive these days. And so I don't know if I want to discount that value to the ecosystem, but to your point, Jimmy, either thousands of dollars or thousands of hours, there is an argument to be made that the guys that are willing to spend thousands of hours are more valuable, right? Like that's
Mhm.
going to ultimately lead to more thousands of dollars and more folks that are willing to spend thousands of hours, attaching value to the cards and assets that are coming their way through the game.
Yeah, it's the balance, man. We need a the balance. We've got the top down. Now we just need the down. You know, like seriously. And I know Dave knows that, and that's coming. That's totally coming. I want to see, again, I never ever wanted to neglect the top. It's finding the balance. I want to see more Actually, I would like to see a more exclusive VIP club happen. And the foils that we're seeing are part of that, man. Having some one of ones you could find in packs, that's some fantastic stuff right there, man. And that gives the little guy a chance to pop that one of one open. And all of a sudden he's freaking Splinterlands royalty. You could hang on to that for the glory, or you can sell it and fund. Probably like you could probably buy a whole deck if you pop open one of those. You
Probably.
could probably whole
Yeah.
set. So it's awesome. I want to see more top, more bottom, more of everything.
Something else
And
that
we're
I would
getting there.
really love to see is, what and I think we're moving in that direction. Uh, but Matt, Gathering, you have called out your experience with trading cards. I think specifically like Upper Deck and football cards back in the day. And I was a big baseball card guy. And I remember distinctly when there was a shift of, just your standard pack with cards. There was not really anything flashy. Maybe there was the occasional, like rookie card or Hall of Fame card or, something like that. But then all of a sudden you started getting filler cards that would get you other real life stuff. Like you could use this card to redeem for some collector's item
Oh,
elsewhere in
yep.
in the, like the Upper Deck or Topps universe. Imagine if in addition to like black foils and the gold foil arcanes, black foil arcanes, there was a possibility for a sixth card in a pack of cards that secured you the rights to design, uh, you know, the bearer of this card holds the rights to design one common death card in the next reward set or something
Mm,
like that. Like it feels like that would be such easy. Like those cards have to get designed anyways.
yeah.
It, the reward that would come to the little guys that are getting that stuff, or the big guys could, I would I
Buy
would
it.
imagine that it's not as meaningful for like a Vuctus or an Azarcon, and it's a great prize to like turn around and raffle off or create some engagement or some sort of contest to give it away. I would love to see that sort of stuff. I don't know why we've stayed confined to the idea of the Archon design, the legendary Archon design. We should 100% be dipping our toes into to other cards as well. And I think that runs very much parallel with Matt's kind of vision of, this is the community's product. This is the community's game. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
just
I
my
think
Oh
two
that's
yeah,
a
cents.
that's a
it's been
fantastic idea.
it's been discussed before. We've had some Team Possible discussions where packs do not have to be confined to just cards. You can throw anything in there. And again, that would help sales if there's a chance for all this other random sixth slot to show up. Every time
Hmm.
you pop a pack, you roll that dice, and every 20,000 packs, there's a sixth slot. And then you roll to see what that is. There's definitely more than cards that we can start putting in packs,
Oh yeah.
and I think we will. I think we will.
Yeah, you could put glamour items in there. You could put maybe some sort of land items, token fragments or, something like that. Yeah, there's a lot that they could do.
hmm
Yeah.
Piece of Bitcoin, literally. Boom. Here's one Satoshi. Beep. I mean, yeah, it's got to come from somewhere, but just spitballing ideas.
Yeah.
Azarcon's freaking out. He's like, no, it's got to come from somewhere. It will. We'll figure all that out. We'll get it one day.
I think the gold foil arcanes, Gathering, you probably know the answer to this. I know the black foil arcanes are pre-minted. The gold foil arcanes, I'm assuming, are as well. So there's guaranteed
Yes.
print
Yep.
rates. Yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore the deck is pretty much stacked to deliver exactly this amount, no more, no less.
Yeah.
Well, we could apply the same sort of logic. Say we've got a new reward set that's set to enter production in August, September. Therefore, all cards need to be submitted and begin playtesting in, I don't know, let's say June. You could stack the card sales so that any pack sold and opened between now and say June 30th has that chance of securing the rights to designing a reward card. And then you could do the same thing with voucher cards down the track, or I don't know technically how feasible something like that would be to have one set that would allocate that sort of technology towards different sets of cards and have like a built-in expiration period. But yeah, it would definitely be something fun to explore.
I mean, you just got to throw it in the bucket. You got that bucket with the arcane cards in there, and which is a really cool dynamic because the more packs that get open, the more chance you have of pulling one of those cards from a pack. So it's really kind of cool. You get down to the nitty gritty, and there's 100 packs left in the set, and there's a couple cards that haven't been pulled yet. You know darn well it's going to be in one of those 100 packs. That's part of the way the algorithm and how it's all part of the programming, I should say. I don't think it's an algorithm. It's more of a programming thing.
We'll talk about retaining
and
value.
Oh yeah, yeah, or increasing, man. I mean, I was involved in there was a pack project years ago. The bad crypto guys had done it, and they had some one of ones and packs. This was before you could do it from a pool. Packs were pre-minted. They had 10,000 packs in a set, and there was a one of one in there, and it never got pulled. People are going through, and then people were looking for it. There was so much hype about this card. One guy even offered a $20,000 bounty. Like, hey, if anyone pulls this, I'll give you $20,000 for it right now. And there's still, I think, 700 or 800 packs left in this project, and it hasn't been pulled yet. It's in one of those packs somewhere. We can do that here. We have done it. It's there. It's actually, we've done it. That's part of the mechanic of the new set with these arcane cards that are pre-minted and they're sitting in a bucket. Bam.
Yeah. Do you know where most of them are? Do you know which packs have the most for the arcane cards? I ran the numbers and
best chances.
Yeah, best chances and how many arcane cards there are total.
I did see your video. It's got to be the alchemy packs, right?
Yep, alchemy is. Well, alchemy has the best chance, but legendary by far has the most arcane cards in them, and that's because of the part in the post where they mentioned pack weighting. So standard was 1 times, alchemy was 3 times, and legendary was 6 times. So basically what that means for every standard pack arcane that you pull, there's going to be 6 in legendary packs. So if you run the numbers, there's a little over 3,000 total arcane cards. So about 1,800 of them are going to be in the legendary packs. And the standard packs, there's only going to be about 300. So if you pull an arcane card out of a $4 standard pack, you are really hitting the lottery. So yeah, alchemy is definitely the sweet spot, in the pre-sale, and also for, not just the black foils, but also for the arcane cards. So I think a lot of the whales have kind of figured that out, and that's probably why, 30% of the alchemy packs are gone on day one.
Yep.
So I think people are going to realize that those are probably, at least to me, in my opinion, those are probably the best packs to get as far as, having a chance not just for the black foils, but also for the arcane.
Now, is this all alchemy packs or just a pre-sale allotment quantity?
Pre-sale allotment.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at it
just
earlier.
Just 10% of the total for all of them?
Something like that.
Yeah, because there's going to be like 5 million standard packs, and they only put 500,000 in the pre-sale, so 10%. And here's the thing, too. I want to ask you guys, I kind of have my opinion. How many packs do you think percentage-wise are going to get burnt by day 300? Like out of the 5 million packs, how many do you think actually sell for standard? Out of the million, how many sell for alchemy, and 500,000 for legendary? Any guesses or ideas?
Depends on if we get new players, man. That is a moving target.
Yeah.
Moving target. If we succeed in getting new players, we could, obviously we're going to burn some because we haven't started the campaign yet. And from day, as soon as the sale goes live, we're going to be burning packs.
Oh.
But the more we get.
You guys know my feeling, and I've mentioned it so many times. I wish they would not burn any packs whatsoever, because it's a set amount per day. And it's like, okay, you're going to have days where you sell a lot, and you're going to have other days where nothing sells. And the days nothing sells, you're burning, what is it for standard, like 15,000? Anything under 15,000 gets burnt. You're going to have days where you only sell 500 packs. So you're going to burn 14,500 packs that might have been sold 2 weeks, a month down the line when you start getting, floods and floods of new players coming in. If they come in 2-3 months from now, there could be 1 million packs that are already burnt. that would have been sales had they not burnt them. So
Isn't that a
against
good
pack-
problem to have though, gathering? I mean, don't you feel like, I mean, there's definitely the sense of exclusivity, right? Like that has a very powerful psychological effect. And if all of a sudden you can't have it, you're willing to pay much more for it, that rewards the folks that were here and that
Yeah.
did buy it. So I understand what you're saying, and I know you were asking for the removal of the capability to burn the arcane cards.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I like the idea of people
You
playing with
can't
fire.
burn the
dude.
arcane cards, though. You can't burn those cards.
Yeah, you
Of
can.
course you
long-
can.
Yep.
How?
That's why
How do you?
you can
Oh, you
burn it
mean
just like any other card.
Oh, I thought you meant like they could get burned in a pack.
Oh no 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 no
Inadvertent.
no.
No,
Like
no.
if you pull one, you
Misinterpretation.
can.
Oh,
you
sure.
can
You should be able to
light
burn
fire.
anything, man. You should
Oh.
be able to light anything you want.
Even a one of one, even a one of one or a one of
Hell,
20.
if
It's
you're
like
that
if it's
crazy,
got a mint
there
number,
should-
it should not be able to be burnt.
Oh, you should burn.
Why would you
anything
want to
want,
burn
man.
it? Throw it on
probably
land.
wouldn't.
Give it to me.
'Cause you're
If
crazy.
you want to
'Cause you're
burn the card,
crazy.
if you don't
Marketing,
want the card,
dude.
if you want to burn it, give it to me,
Yeah.
please. I will take it off
Marketing.
your hands if you don't like it.
Yeah, but that doesn't have the same marketing bam as I just burned a potential $20,000 card.
It's like that James Brown. I don't know karate, but I know crazy.
Yes.
Bam. You know how many people would watch that stream if you were going to burn a one of one? Instant fame and glory.
Oh yeah, man.
The Mad
People were
Mage,
compiling
Mad
in
Battle.
with that
Oh,
exact sentiment. Don't do it. Don't do.
Oh,
Put
yeah.
the lighter down.
I don't
Step
want to
away
look
from the
but
ledge.
I can't look away. I can't
Yes.
look away.
I
Some
thought it was
people-
bad when people were burning gold foil Kellias back in the day. You start burning mint number cards, man, I'm gonna lose it.
I mean that's the beauty of the blockchain stuff, though, right? Like there's
It's yours, man. It's you
yeah,
own it. You own it.
I mean, there's no reason why Post Malone couldn't pull his the one ring card out and toss it in a paper shredder, right? Like,
Oh.
I
Live
mean,
on
it would
stream
be
just
it
hurts
would
the
be crazy to
collector.
do, but you can imagine the internet losing its collective mind and just mind exploding if that were to happen.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
who is going to be the first streamer that pulls an arcane card and on air? The person I'm thinking about is Bolts because I know Bolts loves to burn cards, and actually burns the card. So they
Probably
pull,
Bolts.
let's say, a gold common number to 20, and they're like, "Nope, I'm burning it. Boom, want the DEC."
Probably Bolts. Shout out to that guy, man. I don't know if you guys have seen his. He got a card to reveal. It was the Cavewise Wayfinder. And he had such a clever presentation, man. It was that Bolts absolutely cracks me up. He was one of the funnier personalities that we got in Splinterlands. I would love to see Bolts do some regular streaming again, and maybe burning a black foil on air is going to be what puts butts in seats for Bolts. I'm all about it.
That's another thing I'm excited about with the future of Splinterlands is just all the content creators that we have, and we really, if you really think about it, not that many. There's maybe a dozen or a couple dozen of us that do it on a somewhat regular basis. And a lot of us, a lot of the players don't get enough love. A lot of the channels that are put out great content. I think of Bolts, I think of Silence, I think of Bronze Dragon, some of the guys that maybe aren't as well known as, the People's Guild or known as, Dwayne or Aftersound, the guys that put out, the content all the time. A lot of the smaller channels, I'm really excited to see how we grow, over the next, year or two as this game grows and evolves. Because, a lot like Bronze Dragon, he's put in a lot of work over the last couple of years on his channel, and it's really improved since I first started watching him. So a lot of these guys deserve a lot of praise, and hopefully we'll see them on the influencers and the town halls in the future that Dave puts together. I'm really excited to hear a lot of the perspective from maybe people that don't get as much airtime.
Man, that's another thing that gets fixed with new players. Honestly, we get new players coming in. There are going to be more people watching those exact guys there.
Yeah, and new content creators, that are just going
Oh yeah, absolutely. And to be fair, what you just said before about people like Dwayne being a little more popular, he does have that awesome reverse mustache. Just had to bring it.
Well, people think they're tuning into the live stream of the Fifth Element, man. That's what's actually going on. Live on air, Fifth Element. Uh, but yeah, gathering. I had an absolute blast at the influencer town hall. It was a little bit chaotic being our first go round, our first rodeo, but I know Dave has every intention of doing exactly what you just called out as your hope and passing the microphone to a lot of these, for lack of a better term, unsung heroes of the content creator space, and guys like Bolts and Silence and Buns Bags and Caps, and there's you go down the line. There's a lot of guys that were hurt far more than your Aftersounds and your Dwaynes and your Bulldogs when Splinterlands TV disappeared, and Twitch, I think, has lost some of its luster over the last couple of years, in conjunction with that. And that was a lot of the primary platform for a bunch of those guys. So getting them the mic and getting them some spotlight, and I would like to see some posts coming from the team to kind of piggyback on that and point everybody to all the content creators' respective channels, and getting as much spotlight onto the content creators as possible. And to Jimmy's point, bringing new players, just like there's an element of the gameplay, there's something for everybody. The content creator thing is the same. There's a personality for everybody. You're going to be attracted to a different approach, a different perspective, a different style.
Oh hell yeah, that's why Neil got huge. People we had all the, Aggie and Matt used to watch Neil's spreadsheets.
All the freaks in the sheets, the freaks in the sheets,
freaks in the sheets, between the sheets.
That's
Freaks
the
in
one. Between the sheets.
Yeah, I like the freaks in the sheets. That's even better, man. That's awesome. Now that Vedev is part of the show, we could call it that. I hope he's listening.
Freaks in the sheets. Yeah.
Freaks in the sheets, man. Bam. Freaks
how
and
often-
coats and all types of stuff.
How often does Dave want to do the town hall with like content creators and influence? Is it once a month or twice a month?
I think he's playing monthly. I think.
Monthly. Okay, yeah, that would
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah, I would love to see, now that we mention that, there's no reason why we can't have a official page on the website where it's like, hey, here's our, approved content creators. You want to go watch some YouTube videos on Splinterlands? Bam. And, obviously not some random dude who just joined, but all the people who are vetted and trusted can get a listing on there. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, and it gives us more incentive to like put out better content or more
Put out
content.
content. Yeah.
Because I really want to get more into, as I get some more time, not just doing the Market Watch videos, but I really want to start doing more with my new $10 accounts, my free accounts, to really help a lot of the new players and the free-to-play players come in and say, hey, you guys can join, you can earn right away. And if, you follow these strategies, you can earn some money without putting in outside capital, and slowly build your deck, slowly build your collection, and have fun along the way as you're learning the game and learning the market. So that's something that
Time
I
is
personally
money.
want to start doing. Yep, time is money.
Time is money, man. Bam. That's a slogan for something. Time is money. And you could do that, man. And the more there is, the more content there is for new people like that, the more success there is for everyone, for the content creators, for the game. We're in a whole new world. What people like watching on YouTube is mind-blowing. It's absolutely insane, and what's available to watch is absolutely insane.
I think that slogan is from The Apprentice, Jimmy, isn't it?
Time is money. I don't watch The Apprentice. I never have seen an episode.
I'm just trying to get you. I'm just trying to get you riled up. I have no idea.
He stole it from Einstein. Man. He stole it from Gary Larson. God damn it.
Mission achieved. I'm just trying to rile you up, dude.
God damn it.
But yeah, man, you're absolutely right, dude. It feels like, and I wonder if you guys, credit to you, man. You have remained very level-headed and always forward-looking, and I don't think I've ever heard anything negative from you in any of your public appearances, whether it's your channel or you're hopping on with Dwayne or what have you. I think you've always been very positive about the future of Splinterlands, and it feels like the community is catching up to that sentiment, and it feels like things are different. It ain't the same song, it ain't the same dance moving forward. It feels like we've got a new kind of status quo that we're in the presence of, or in the process of kind of feeling out and putting putting the ink down in terms of what does it actually look like, but it does feel like things are different. Is there, I mean, are you seeing a lot of that also gathering? Is that your general feel as well, or are you just constant
I've always
bull across the
I,
board?
I don't want to say constant bull, but I see where the game's going. Like I've said before, this is Magic the Gathering 2.0. And just everything that the team's gone through in the last couple of years, with the downsizing and the bear market and all that. And, Discord, I remember, I don't know, 2, 3 years ago was just so toxic for a while. And just so many people, oh, the game is dead. Oh, they're just trying to make money. They're just trying to, take your money, sell packs, da da da. They don't care about the community or whatever. I push all of that to the side. Look where we are now. 7 years. We're still here. We're still growing. We've got awesome marketing, awesome community, awesome leadership. It's like, what is there to be negative about? I mean, you're going to have your waves where things go great, where you have challenges, but we've gone through every challenge and we've come out stronger. So yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't see myself as a bull. It's just, what is there really to be bearish about it at this point? SPS hit its low. Now it's going back up. DEC has hit peg or very, very close to peg. Marketing is starting to take off. I think with Conclave Arcana, with this pre-sale, we're just going to, grow and grow from here on out.
And Bitcoin is now
this game,
following SPS,
yeah,
as we saw today.
Yeah, I don't know
I
if you
saw
heard the
people
news,
posting that. It's like, how
everybody.
nice of it that Bitcoin is going up because of the pre-sale. So I'm like,
Because
yeah,
SPS went up. Yeah.
yeah.
Hey,
But
so
no,
speaking of,
I've
go
never,
finish your thought, and then I have a question
yeah,
for
I
you.
was going to say, I've never been part of a better community or better game than right here. And it's something, how they always say, trust your gut, go with your gut. I think of this game when it was kind of, I don't want to say floundering, but when we were going through the bear market and those rough times and the downsizing, not once did I have doubt. Not once was it like, oh, here we go. Oh, another project's going to collapse. No, I was like, nope, they're going through a challenge. They'll get through it. They'll come back leaner and meaner and stronger on the other side. And I don't know how else to explain it than just, trusting my gut, trusting my intuition that everybody that is part of this game, you are part of something extremely special that I cannot put into words. It's more than just a game. It's more than just a community. It's something greater than that. And like Aggie would always say, peace, prosperity, and freedom. Yeah, I think that goes very well with Splinterlands. So yeah, excited to be here. I'm not going anywhere. So I'll be here next year, the year after, and forevermore. You're always going to see Gathering the Magic somewhere around, making videos and cracking jokes from time to time. So I'm not going anywhere, kids. I'm stuck. You're stuck with me.
Oh, nice. And another point on that whole thing is we are, even though we've been here for, the game for 7 years, many of us here for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So it feels like we've been around forever, but everything's still new. Considering the blockchain gaming, we are still early, and we are positioned to be a dominating force in the blockchain gaming and in just blockchain, man. I mean, we're creeping up on 10 years, which blows my mind that I've been aware of Bitcoin and into it and stuff, but not quite 10, but getting there. And so adaption has always seemed like inevitable, but we're fine. Like, we're still early in crypto. Blockchain is still such in relatively early stages, considering its potential and where we're headed with it.
Totally. Yeah, it's the future is bright. I'm super stoked that things seem to, it's been a very gradual process, and then all of a sudden it feels like we're well-oiled machine. We're firing on all cylinders. It happens to coincide with a really big, I think everybody was pleasantly surprised looking at the crypto markets yesterday as the pre-sale was getting ready to launch, and Bitcoin had a pretty massive 6% bump in the last 24 hours. Solana's up 20% in the last week.
So suddenly
Ethereum
people
has
can buy
bounced
packs.
back. Yeah.
That's packed. And oh my God, how many times did we run out of liquidity today? We had to we had to re-provide liquidity from the DAO.
Somebody was saying that's never happened before.
It was
Somebody
like
was
two or
saying,
three times.
oh, was it? I thought it was just
Yeah.
the one signature. I didn't see.
I thought there was like twice within the past very short amount of time that we had to that we
Oh,
ran out of liquidity.
yeah, it might have been twice in the last couple weeks, I
Week or two.
think.
Yeah. Yeah, two or
Yeah,
three times in the last week. And yeah, definitely today where it's like, dude, there's no more liquidity. We got to gotta throw some more
yeah, we got to
uh
restock the
in the
coffers.
pool.
Yeah,
That's freaking awesome. That's bull signals right there.
yeah, Bull City.
Bull
What do you
sit.
guys think about? So there's shout out to the guys in Tavern that continue to run the API and post the data on who's burning SPS, how much SPS is getting burned. Here's the last, 24, 48 hours. This is the the leaderboard on SPS burns. And then there's a camp of folks that are saying, I'm absolutely not burning SPS at this price point. I'm just going to use credits, or I'm just going to hold off, or I'm just going to, it's easier, it's more cost effective for me to go to the market and swap for DEC. I think there's we could probably do a better job as a community of conveying how these things ultimately all contribute to SPS going up, right? Like, because if the company buy, or excuse me, if customers buy cards, buy packs with credits, we're just taking an indirect route to more SPS being acquired and burned, right? So whether we
Mhm.
buy and burn SPS, or we buy credits and the team does the burning, we're still achieving the same
Yeah.
result, right?
I was thinking about this today because all the burning that's been going on publicly, and people posted it. I'm like, huh. I almost was like, should I burn one SPS just to be on that list, just to say I've burned SPS, or do I keep my burning virginity and say I've never burned a single SPS? That's my internal debate right now.
Burn it, Jimmy. Burn it,
Just burn.
Jimmy.
Yeah, I think I might, man. I might burn one SPS
I'm not
just to
burning
see.
mine because I don't have that much, and I want a lot more. I want like Bejangles, man. I want 1 million, and it's like I'm nowhere close to that. So it's like I've got a long way to go.
Well, what's funny,
Mm.
gathering, and I was telling Jimmy this, and I was talking to a couple of the other guys about it as well, is I bought this SPS with every intention of burning it to participate in the pre-sale. Now that I've got it, I was like, oh man,
You
I
know where
can't
it's
do
going.
it.
Why burn it?
I
Yeah.
staked it. I staked it, and I'm not touching it. I'm gonna have to figure out another way to do it. I'm this close to a million SPS. I still got a little ways to go, and I did the numbers. I think, if I'm able to continue where I'm at with survival and botting wild, once Conclave comes out, I'm gonna start playing modern again. But um, I should hit a million before the end of the year for sure, which is not that
Bam.
far away. So that's assuming that I can keep my hands in my pocket when it comes to unstaking and burning SPS. So
And it
Man, you
sounds like
pull a black
survival's the
foil.
way to go for SPS. Have you seen some of the posts from Jeff? Jeff opens cards on how much
Oh my
SPS
God.
he's pulling in a day. It is unreal. It was like 5,000 a day, 6,000 a day. It's like, holy crap.
yeah,
That's a deep collection too.
Yeah, a super deep collection.
And he's up top, up at the top. I think my survival bot is still pulling in the point 3 to point 6 per battle, knocking around in bronze and silver. And still getting crushed by max cards regularly, I do have to point out.
it'll get fine tuned. It'll get fine tuned. We're a couple months away from it happening, but I think it'll happen. Uh,
Mm.
Man, I gotta say, one of Jeff's this guy is, for anybody who is uninitiated to Jeff opens cards. This dude absolutely lives up to his name. That's what this guy does. He opens cards in freaking droves. And one of his videos, I think it was a Riff Watchers. It must have been a Riff Watchers. Popped up on my YouTube Shorts algorithm the other day, and it was, that was 3 years ago, almost 2.5 years ago, that Riff Watchers came out. Um, I really look forward to Jeff having his card opening streams again, and he's on the leaderboard for Conclave. That looks like it's a very real possibility for our short to medium term future is Jeff coming back to open up a bunch of cards.
Dude,
Yeah,
not
I
only
can't wait
does
to see
Jeff
the pack opening videos again.
Not only does Jeff open cards himself, he hires now people to open cards. There was a stream, he posted something once. I clicked on it and watched. He had an employee of his chained to a desk with a pile of freaking physical packs in front of him, just popping open cards, man. I don't remember. It might have been Pokemon or something, but yeah, he's got a sweatshop going where he's got people opening cards live on stream. Pretty awesome. So he's hardcore, man. He's made a living out of opening cards.
Jeff opens cards, and Jeff hires you to open cards. Yeah, beautiful, man. Yeah, Jeff is a very fun personality, man. I I think we definitely talked about when we hosted Jeff. That was about a year ago, but he his claim to fame on YouTube, he ran
Oh, that
uh,
video.
some ridiculous Pokemon video where he was driving around like rural Wisconsin, shouting out the window that he pulled some, it'd be like the equivalent of a furious chicken, like some.
He pulled
So,
two of them out of the same deck.
yes,
That
he
was the
pulled
thing.
two of
I
them.
pulled
Yeah,
two. I don't know what the card was.
uh,
Going through
Ephus
the
maybe, something
drive-through
like that. Yes.
and just telling the person,
Hey,
I pulled
I got two. Yelling at the
and then
birds,
driving
like rolling
away.
down his window, yelling at the birds.
That
Yeah,
was
we
brilliant.
need
That
that.
was
Come
good.
come back, Jeff. We miss you, man.
I think if I pull an arcane card, I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start just driving down the street, just screaming, "Hey, I pulled a one of one black foil arcane," and people are going to just look at me like, "What? What is he talking about?"
You know,
And you're
you know
just
who
more
would
psyched.
understand what you're talking about is Axler, and he
Mhm.
posted in Tavern that he bought a pack. I saw him hanging out on the Twitter live last night. Uh, so I don't
Nice.
know if he's back, but he's definitely watching a little bit more closely than he has in a while. So
Yeah. Do you guys know about me and Axler?
I know you guys are neighbors, right?
Yeah, it was amazing when I
No.
found that out, because, he was one of the content creators that I would watch, when he was doing stuff. And I love Baron's Toolbox. That is just an awesome, awesome land tool.
Yep.
And
Oh, it's
somehow
classic.
the conversation came up about where do you live? Oh, in Michigan, blah, 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 small town. And then I figured out he lives like 2 miles from my house. I'm like, how weird is that in this whole huge world? And how many people are actually playing Splinterlands, a few thousand, that one of the guys that I watch is literally just 2 miles down the road from me. So
Yeah. What are
yeah,
the odds?
one of these days I'm gonna have to just knock on his door and say, "Are you back? Are you back now?"
That's black foil odds right there. You just hit
Yes,
it.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
actually
or better.
went out to lunch. My wife and I went out to lunch with him and his wife. Great guy, great guy. So yeah,
You
Awesome.
hopefully
should go
comes
knock on
back.
his door and get him back, man. That's your job. Go
Mhm.
knock on the door and
Well,
get him to update the Baron's toolbox for the new land stuff.
it's funny because my wife, she works second shift, and when she comes home from work, she drives right by his house. And lately, he's been streaming like some games that he's playing. So she'll come home and she'll be like, "Yeah, he was up streaming again because I could see the light on in his man cave. So he was out making making videos."
Uh,
Yeah, go
that's all.
sell some of your fancy rectangular NFTs door to door salesman style
Yep,
gathering. Knock
yep.
on his door first.
That's a shout out to Mike Hatcher, the MTV or MTG historian. That was one of his openings for Magic the Gathering. Was greetings, owners of fair luxury cardboard rectangles. Well, of course, we're not cardboard, we're digital. So don't want to be accused of plagiarism, but I love Mike Hatcher. He's got great content if you're a MTG fan.
Nice. The magic historian. I just
Yep.
googled him in the background. Cool.
Oh, I get your name now. It's a play on Magic the Gathering.
Mhm.
I'm kidding, of course.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny when Blaze called me Magic the Gathering instead of Gathering the Magic. My wife's like, "That's what you get for having your name like that." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I guess."
So I
Shoot.
wanted to ask one thing I wanted to ask while we're here is what tell us some market insight, man. You're always watching the market. What are some trends you've seen going on? What's happening right now in the market in Splinterlands? What do we
Right
want to
now, the
look at? What are
market.
some weird stuff that maybe we don't have eyes on that you've noticed?
Well, the one thing I keep hinting at and kind of directly hinting at is, like I mentioned earlier, is the dual summoners from Rebellion. Even the regular foil, not just the gold foil, are just way, way, way too underpriced at, 25, 35 cents a piece. I mean, these things I think should be staples in everyone's deck. The ability to pull two different splinters and be able to play it for such a low cost. And it's affordable for everyone. It's not like a legendary summoner where you've got to, plop down 15, 20, 30 bucks or 60, in the case of Tofu to get a copy of. It's very affordable for everyone. So, and for the longest time, I was like, I wanted Nate to come out with a t-shirt that says "Got Rebellion." Because I figured like so many people are just ignoring Rebellion. They were looking forward to Conclave Arcana, and I'm like, okay, maybe Rebellion is not as overpowered as Chaos Legion. But like you were saying earlier, there's some key cards in the set that I think people really need to take advantage of now before they go up in price. Like, why is Moxian Rebel not a $5 card? Why
It
is it
will
only
be.
$1.50? It will be.
It will be.
They're
NFA, not
yeah,
financial advice.
not financial advice. But yeah, a lot of the Chaos Legion reward cards, the soulbound ones, are starting to move up in value. I think going forward, it would be very good if you don't have copies of the summoners that allowed you to bring in gladiator cards. Those have moved up a lot in price from 25, 30 cents to I think a lot of them are like 50 to 80 cents now. And I think they're going to continue to go up. Once they rotate out of modern, I think they're going to become, staples in wild, because that's going to be the one place where you can really play your gladiators. So there's certain cards that I think
Survival
are overlooked. Yep,
and
survival
survival.
mode. Yep.
Yep.
Man, I was just looking up in the background, the Moxian Rebel, without no sneaky peekies over there. Care to wager what a max Moxian Rebel would cost you right now? It's a rare card.
Let me guess here. Let's see.
150
Let me go
MPX.
on last time I looked.
It's probably under 200 and it should be way above that.
250.
250.
247.25 is my
Yep.
guess.
$553.
That's about
Whoa!
that's about
Yeah.
right.
Bam! That's
Average
right.
average price per BCX is $3.64.
That's
That's
gone up since last
Whoever
time I
posted
looked.
that at that price, they get it. They understand.
and there are 7 gold foils on the market.
hmm I remember, I think it was about 2 months ago, I was on Discord and was talking with Azrakhan and he bought all of them. I'm like, why is there a gold foil Moxian Rebel under 20 bucks? And he's like, I'll take care of that. And he bought them all. I'm like, good man. Good
As your
man.
cod, man, that guy, man, he's my favorite TikTok content creator that nobody talks about, by the way.
Oh, with
Um,
the ticket.
if you guys haven't seen the video of Azrakhan going viral on TikTok, it's on the People's Guild Twitter. Go check it out. But I think it was Jarvie that called out something about there was a Peak Monster display error or something like that with cards versus their price. And he put a screenshot in Tavern, and it was about Zyvax Wool. And the previous conversation, I think, was about land. Uh, Azarkon chimes in like 90 seconds later, replies to Jarvie's message about the visual error. It's like, hey, I took care of the problem. Card's not there anymore. He just went to the market and bought it. So, just so funny, man.
Zyvax Fool, the old land card.
Yeah,
Great
great
gold
land
foil
card.
card. You don't miss
Exactly.
him not being in your deck. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever played that card, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you guys noticed how the Chaos Legion reward cards, I think it was about a month ago, just spiked all the golds? Like even the commons
yeah.
that were like 13, 15 cents forever. I was getting ready to do the market watch and all of a sudden they all jumped up to like 40 cents plus. I'm like, oh, here we go. And the legendaries that were like just under $20 for the floor for weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm like, when are we finally going to break that $20 threshold? And then when I did my market watch, the cheapest one was like 32. I'm like, oh wow, here we go. I think they've come down a little bit, but I don't expect to see even Chaos Legion gold foil legendaries under $20 again.
No, 20 is a good floor, especially with land. I've been paying close attention to that stuff because I have been buying land cards consistently now for the past couple months since since Dave's announcement that brought that him taking the job. That definitely put new life into my investment behavior, and land cards have been one of the things I'm buying because, man, the, land is pretty tough, man. It takes a lot of PP to generate anything worthwhile, and I think the Chaos Legion gold foils are the last real bastion of feasible land work. Once you get into rebellion and such, it's not even worth it putting 10,000 DEC on a plot to mine almost nothing. But those gold foil Chaos Legion cards, especially rares, epics, and legendaries, they're just, you generate PP. So I've just been you just watch, price goes down, you grab a couple,
Yeah.
And
So how many Aura Labs are you going to get up and running for the midnight potions?
I'm not sure. I haven't even thought that far ahead yet. I think he just announced today that it was done, or it was coded anyway, in the land
The
chat.
29th is what I saw is the go live date.
I'm going to be literally traveling on that day.
The only reason I found out was I went to close down the current research hut that I have going. I've got an epic magical plot, and I was gonna transform it into an Aura. What is it? Aura Lab? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Aura Lab.
Aura Lab. Yeah. I was going to fire up the Aura Lab, and it's like, wait a second, why is it not here? And then I went to the post, and yeah, sure enough, next week. So yeah, I did see your video gathering about the Aura Lab stuff. Are you planning on, I know you talked about using your research to get at least one up and running. Are you planning on making moves towards that kind of being a bigger part of your enjoyment in Splinterlands by way of securing some additional magical land and playing that part of the game?
Yeah, well, I was very excited when I found out that it would only cost 10,000 research because I think I only have like 25 or 26,000. I turned my research off a while ago once we started getting the more the natural resources, the wood, ore, and stone, because I wanted to start stockpiling that. So I'll definitely I'll get one Aura Lab up and running. The problem is about a month ago, I took all my DEC off of land and I put it in a site, SPL Trader. So I've been using that to kind of generate some passive DEC. So at some point, I'm going to take my DEC off of there, put it back in land, and get my land up and running again. So I don't know if you guys have checked that out. It's a site where it sounds like it's a bot program that buys and sells cards. So he uses the DEC that you stake there as kind of like a funding for him to purchase cards. And then every day he keeps like 40% of the profit, and then 60% goes back to everyone that staked DEC. So I've been using it for, I think, almost exactly a month now. And I have 630,000 DEC there. And I think I've made a little over 20,000 DEC in a month. So for me, it's like,
say those numbers again. Sorry.
I had almost 500,000 DEC on land, and then I had another 130,000 sitting to the side. So I put all that DEC on his site. And in just under a month, I think the first day I used it was March 24th, and I've generated about 21,000 DEC. Some days are better than others. It all depends on sales. He'll have some days where he'll sell like 100,000 DEC, so you get 60% of that, and then whatever percent that you have towards the total pool, like I think I have like about 4%. So I'll get 4% of that 60% profit. I've had a couple days where it's been like 2,000. I've had a couple days where it's been 200. So it all depends on card sales, but you can unstake it like within 24 hours because, he's currently using the DEC. So, if you want it back, it takes just one day and then you get it back into your account. So I took a little bit of profit out, but yeah, I definitely am going to take some out for Conclave Arcana because I want to be part of the presale. So I'm going to set aside 400,000 DEC for that, and then the rest of it I'm going to put on land to get my land up and running again. But yeah, if you're someone that wants to buy and sell cards, or you're looking at a way to earn some passive DEC, definitely check it out. So it's SPL Trader.
Do you happen to know who's running it?
He's on Discord, so I don't remember his name exactly offhand, but he does have a Discord channel. It might be on the site. So if you go check out the site, it might list on there. It might have a link to his Discord. I think Bronze Dragon said he's been using it since either January or late last year.
Yeah, that was where I first heard of it was through Bronze Dragon.
Yeah,
Uh,
and he's like me. It's one of those things where it's like you don't want to like hype something if you don't really know, and then all of a sudden it closes down. But I don't know. Once again, I trust my gut, and it's like, yeah, he seems on the up and up.
yeah. I mean,
Me,
the look and feel makes me think Xbot immediately. I wonder if
mm,
this is a Siler thing. Um, that's just instinct, but
yeah, it's definitely something I think people should check out. But yeah, like I
That's
said,
cool
it's a
for
bot
passive.
program that just takes profits and splits it with the people that, fund the DEC for him to be able to buy the cards.
hmm,
It's kind of
cool.
cool. Passive income is always a good thing to do. You got to
Mhm.
decide if you trust the actor, and if you do, that's cool.
But as far
And
as land goes, anyone out there that has plots in
yeah,
43 that you're willing to sell, please list some plots in 43. I'm really looking for a fire plot. I've got water, earth, dragon, and death. I've got a life magical plot on
43.
51. So, yep, 43 is the region I'm looking for. And there's almost nothing for sale. I think there's only 3 plots.
Who are some of the big names in that part of the world?
Uh, I don't even know, honestly.
43 is that Broken Lands?
Land of
Uh,
Prosperity.
prosperity.
And, oh yeah.
Photo Hunt.
That's fair.
Looks like he's a multiple region holder. Excuse me, 3 tracks, 4 tracks. Looks like Walk the Grid has something for sale.
Yeah, I think he has one.
And
But yeah, I'm just looking
Defecator.
for, like I said, I'm looking for a fire plot. If I can find an affordable fire plot in 43, it'd make me so happy. Then I'll have almost all the magical elements covered.
What do you think about so Azurcon, we had him on a couple of weeks ago and he was talking about the idea of quote unquote delegating me some land and I balked at the idea. I don't have the DEC funds, especially with the pre-sale coming and that sort of stuff. I wanted to focus elsewhere. But shout out to Dwayne again. He took Azurcon up on it and got 10 plots fired up. And I think there's a couple of other guys who have kind of, raised their hand and expressed interest in managing some plots for Azurcon. Do you guys reckon that we'll see some development to more securely, more safely manage this sort of land delegation? Because I know, Matt Clark, as an example, was really keen on land surfing for ages and ages. He's 2 castles and thousands of plots of land, and a big part of his plan to scale his land production was land surfing. Well, obviously that got nixed, but this feels like, instead of land surfing, you just securely are able to delegate your land out to players that, you strike a deal with or, whatever that looks like. Um, do you guys expect that would be something that would significantly increase overall activity and engagement on land?
I think
100%.
so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. The only question I have is how would you do it if you delegate land to someone like Dwayne, and then Dwayne, when we get to the point where you can like build your permanent buildings and level them up, let's say Dwayne has it for 6 months, he builds a quarry, he levels it up to level 5, and then after 6 months, Azurcon says, "Okay, I want my plot back." Okay, Dwayne's invested all that time and energy and resources to leveling that building, and now it's no longer his. So how do you work that out? Unless you have an understanding right at the beginning that hey, anything you build, at the end of the time that it's delegated to you, it goes back to the owner.
Well, I mean
Yeah,
that would
landlord
have to
would
be an
have to
agreement
build that,
ahead
I
of
would
time,
think.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it gets tricky. It really does. It would have to be an agreement ahead of time, or, landlord does the building because he owns it. And then the
Yeah.
renter decides if it's worth to keep renting there. Do I keep renting this? My landlord won't level up my freaking building. Or you have a mutually beneficial relationship with your landlord, and they're like, yeah, hey, it's time to level up. I'm getting some good returns on renting this out to you, so I'll do it.
Well, as far as I know, Azurcon isn't expecting any rent. He's
No, he said he
collecting
would
as
give you plots. He said he would give you the plots.
Yeah,
He was
well,
talking about giving them away.
yeah. I mean, he's benefiting by being the castle owner, right?
Yeah,
So
keeps
he's
Yeah.
and keep owner. Yeah,
and
Yeah.
keep
That's his
owner, yeah,
income. Yep.
right. So
yeah, keeps are huge.
I think it makes more sense for the big guys like Cryptomancer or Vugtis is in a league of his own. I don't think he has many vacant plots that he would even need to delegate out. But somebody like Matt Clark and Cryptomancer, maybe even Gank. These guys with big plots of or big establishments of land. If you're benefiting from taxes through keeps and castles, maybe that's enough to get past the any sort of real rental agreement or rental payment. Um, I don't know, but
Yeah,
something
that
to
would
think
be cool
about.
if there was a way you could like delegate a plot out, and even though it's delegated out to someone else, you could still build on that plot if you're the owner. So it's kind of like you're helping them out along the way. So it's like they're working the land for you, and then maybe you can like level up the building as they're working it.
Yeah, like a management interface or something like that.
Hmm.
Cool. Well, guys, there's a lot going on. We're coming up on the 2 hour mark, so let's start winding this baby down. But a lot going on at the moment. Is there anything? Let's start with you, Gathering. Is there anything in particular that um, is striking you as potentially the biggest needle mover for us in the coming months, given all the things that we've kind of heard whispers of what's coming, and here's the potential unofficial roadmap. Is there something that sticks out in your mind as being more meaningful than anything else?
For me, I think what it's always been is PvE campaign mode. I think that is the huge thing. I can see a future in Splinterlands where campaign mode is 60 to 70% of the game. Land is maybe 20% of the game. And then ranked battles and guild brawls are there along with tournaments, but it's just kind of like it's not the main focus. It's like you come into Splinterlands, your main focus is, okay, can I get this campaign done by the end of the season? Can I finish this achievement? Can I do this quest or whatever. And then it's like, oh man, I got to do land because I've got to make, midnight potions because I want to open these alchemy packs that I've held on to for 3 months, towards the end of Conclave Arcana. Now we're at the point where I want to open them because I want to try for that arcane card. So yeah, campaign mode and land, I think are the two biggest things. But for me, like I said, I see a future where campaign mode PvE is the main thing that brings in the new players, because so many players want to come in and just play. They don't want to deal with anyone else. They don't want to deal with bots. They don't want to lose against people that have played the game for 5 years. They want to come in. They want to get immersed into this beautiful world that is right behind you. I see this awesome artwork. They want to just get immersed in that world, have some, lore, some storytelling, have some fun, earn some items, and, enjoy the game that way. So I can't wait for campaign mode to come out and get realized in Nate's vision. It sounds like it's pretty close, at least the new player experience version. What the campaign mode will look like for us veterans, I'm not sure if that's later in the year or if that's going to be something that comes out next year. But to me, it's been the only thing that's kept this game from just completely exploding. So very excited when that comes out.
Exploding.
Yep.
You said the magic word there, Gathering.
Hmm.
Yeah, man, I would love to see campaign mode, kind of reach its fingers all across, not just me versus the game, but also, if the three of us could hop into a co-op and go try and take down a boss fight, or
Yep.
there was some way for guilds to interact with campaign mode. So
Yeah,
yeah,
everybody in your guild attacks a certain region. You're like, it's your guild in region 43 against the guild in region 80. Go fight. Go try to take them out. See what you
yeah,
can do.
yeah. I mean, ultimately for me, it's game modes, right? And that's exactly what you're talking about is campaigns. At the end of the day, it's a new game mode that allows for a different type of engagement with Splinterlands. So there's definitely something there, and it feels, to your point, it feels like it's coming swiftly down the pike in some form or fashion. I mean, obviously, it's going to be an evolving and ongoing iterative process, but yeah, definitely looking forward to it. How about you, Jimmy? what's got most of your attention in terms of what's been whispered about what you're most excited on?
Yeah, I think campaign mode is definitely one of them. 100% one of them. Yeah, I just think more modes, like literally more gameplay, more free to play, and just more make the web deeper. And, the Splinterlands web of everything, land. I want to see everything become more interactive and more interlocked. I want to see kind of what you guys were just saying, land become more integral in the actual different modes, in the gameplay. Um, yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Just more of everything. Keep going.
More.
Keep the lore going. Keep the lore going. Again, man, I'm looking at that picture behind you. I love the artwork, the very unique artwork and IP that has developed in Splinterlands over the past 7 years. It's a winner. It's freaking badass. I don't see any reason why that would not be mainstream.
Well,
And
Jimmy,
yeah, I just want to
you've been saying it forever that Splinterlands has such a unique, immediately identifiable aesthetic, and I think, having an advanced look at what the new modern looks like, uh, man, I gotta say it is a completely different Battlefield, not having the Chaos Legion frames, the Chaos Legion artwork, just and not to say it's a bad look, but Rebellion plus Conclave Arcana is definitely a more refined experience on the battlefield, and being able to see, it's the minor stuff, like when you're looking at the cards and in your collection versus on the battlefield, the team has done like a zoom in, so you're seeing like the profile portrait of the monster on the battlefield, and seeing that across all units and summoners. Yeah, it really gives that artwork a chance to flex, because it is special. They have nailed a pretty unique formula there.
One other
Mhm.
thing, I don't think we've mentioned it at all, that I'm really hoping that they do something with in the not too distant future is the Glint store. There is so much more that they could do with the Glint store. One of the things that I said is they need to have like a 24-hour rotating item that is in the Glint store. So it's like every day you want to log in and say, okay, what's the cool new thing that's in the Glint store? Maybe have like a subset of cards that are only available in the Glint store. You can't get them through like draws or packs, and you can only purchase like so many per day, but it rotates through the set. Say there's like a 20 card set, 10 commons, 5 rare, 3 epics, and 2 legendaries. And every day, one of those is going to get rotated in the Glint store, and you can purchase like 1 or 2 of them. So it's kind of balances out for everyone. So it's not like the whales are going to come in and, they've been saving up millions of Glint and they can just, I'm going to max out my set day one. You're limited to how many you could buy, but just to get something, fresh in the Glint store, I think is something that's long overdue.
Completely agree.
Mhm.
And the
Yeah, I
voucher
think
shop, the voucher shop, man.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's coming. I know that all of that is coming. It's all on the radar,
Yep.
and I think it's just a matter of time.
Feeling good, guys. It's an
Yep,
exciting time
definitely.
to be here. 7 years. That's crazy. Let's wrap it up with this, guys. Any predictions for how, or any wish list predictions and or wish lists of activities, tournaments, something new, something fresh that you want to see the 7 year celebration roll out?
Well, that's coming up soon, isn't it? I don't know the exact date, but it's sometime in May, isn't it? Is the 7 year anniversary?
Yep.
Oh man, what kind? Splinterfest 2? Can we get another Splinterfest?
That's a big one.
Unannounced, just kind of a surprise. Hey guys, we're gonna have a Splinterfest 2.
Yeah, you're going big real quick there, Gathering. I like it.
Dude, we could do an online like the old Digicom. There's no dude, an online Digicom style Splinterfest. Did you guys ever do the Digicom
I think
interactive?
I think I showed up once. I think it was right around Splinterfest, actually.
Dude, it would be so badass. It's such a cool little virtual experience. Man, if we could have a Splinterfest that way, that would be amazing. It's so much fun, those little things.
Put it on, Jimmy.
Yeah, right.
This is
No,
the explosions tent.
Oh, that would be amazing. You go into this room, it's nothing but different explosions, random explosions. It's going to take like 30 seconds before you just got to bail entirely. Jimmy's
Gathering,
room.
but before we wrap up, man, I would be remiss if this marks the end of Jimmy's streak. What is your facial hair situation, and how big is your mustache?
Let's see. No mustache,
Yeah.
no beard. My wife would not allow it. I'm one of those guys where I don't think I could ever grow a nice full beard. It would just be patchy. So, yep, no beard, no mustache.
Ever? Have you
One of
ever
these
had a
days,
beard?
if I ever get a camera, you guys will see me and you'll be like, okay, can you just turn the camera back off? Okay.
We got to get you a
So
webcam, dude.
Yep.
you've never had a beard or a mustache?
No. Nope.
Ever? Never.
Nope. Never.
Okay, that's
Nope.
something. That's a state. That's like me. I never burned SPS yet.
People were saying when I was younger, I looked pretty much exactly like Harry Potter, if that gives you any idea of what I look like.
My wife
The
doesn't see
lightning
it.
bolt scar. Is
I
that
don't
what
have
it
this.
is?
Well, I do have a small scar in the center of my head. It's not a lightning bolt, but it's a very small scar. But yeah, my wife always is like, "Oh, I don't see it," and everybody else is like, "Yep, I see it. Yep, you look like a young Harry Potter back then." Yep. I'm like, okay.
And of course, that made me just think of Harry Potter with a badass mustache.
Nice. Awesome. Well, gathering, dude, I long overdue. I'm glad, and that just speaks to the depth of this awesome community and the really rad team that's this community has rallied around. Is it took us a long time to finally cross paths officially. I'm glad we did. Absolute pleasure hanging out. We'll do it again sometime. And what's up next for you content wise, dude? Are you going to be tracking the pre-sale stuff? Are you doing some prediction stuff for the duration of the pre-sale? I think we got 17, 18 days remaining before the general sale. What's happening next in your world?
Well, let's see. This weekend will definitely be the card market watch. So part of that is going through assets and prices. So I'm very curious to see what the total amount of SPS burnt is since the last market watch. I think 2 weeks ago we were at 133.8 million SPS burnt. And I think earlier today I saw we were getting close to 140. So that's going to be at least 6 or 7 million SPS burnt over the last week and a half. So Market Watch will be coming out. Like I said earlier, I really want to concentrate more on getting content out for new players, players that are just joining the game. I want to help them as much as I can. I'll be saying in the videos, hey, if you guys need any help, you have any questions, if there's something that, being a veteran player, maybe there's things that I don't think about, like, okay, a new player is focusing on this aspect of the game that I didn't even think about. So looking to get more feedback and crank out the new player content. So really want to help new players get started in the game.
Are you still doing the I don't know if it's a contest, but the new player experience stuff with Silence and Dolo?
Oh no, we wrapped that up. So
You wrapped that up.
I won't
Okay.
I won't give away the results, but I will say I was in the top 3.
You were in the top 3?
Yep. Of the 3 of us, I was in the top 3.
Spoilies.
Yep. That was a lot of fun. It was so much fun making a new account from scratch again and seeing if I could grow the account without putting any outside money in. And I think last I saw, started with the $10. I think I'm above 25 now already.
Nice.
And my original $10 account that I started going on 3 years ago, I think is over 600 for just putting $10 in.
Over
So it can be done,
600.
guys.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Between the SPS and the cards that I own, because I don't rent. That's one of the main things is as I go away from rent. If I'm going to spend something on a card, I want to own it. So
What's the account, dude? If anyone wants to track that
if you
down.
want to check it out, it is Gedphir, GEDPHIR.
What the heck is a Gidfer?
Years and years ago, when I was in high school, I started to write an adventure story. So all of my account names are characters that were in that story. So my main
Nice.
account is Jovek. Gedfer was in it. Namgib. Yes, it is Big Man backwards. I know it's kind of lame, but hey, I was a teenager. Cut me some slack here. And then my other account, Tremble Lightfoot, which was a halfling. So that's where the names came from. Somebody's like, "Man, you got weird names." It's like, well, it's part of a story. It's the only thing I could think of.
You
Any
did get a
relation to
Lightfoot in the
Lightfoot?
game.
Gordon Lightfoot.
Yep.
It's got to be related. It's got to be related.
Gordon Lightfoot is
Singer. Oh,
Dancing in the Moonlight, right? No, I was trying to put my finger on the song Dancing in the Moonlight. That's Gordon Lightfoot, isn't it?
No. He was a lot more folky, deep. He had this deep baritone voice there. I don't know. I don't even know if he played with a full band. He must have at some point, but a lot of times it's him strumming an acoustic guitar, singing folky style, country-ish songs. Gordon Lightfoot.
Lightfoot, deep voice. Huh?
The silver tongued. No, that was Chris Christopherson. Damn, I keep getting them mixed up. I keep confusing those guys. So similar voices though. Chris Christopherson and Gordon Lightfoot. Similar genre.
Widely considered Canada's greatest songwriter. Interesting.
No shit, I didn't even know he was Canadian. I would say Neil Young is Canada's
Yeah, I was just gonna
greatest
say
songwriter,
Neil Young should be on that list.
Oh no, man, Gordon
Bryan
Lightfoot
Adams.
was a. You're an '80s boy, giving
I'm
it
an 80s
away.
boy.
Play the game. Cuts like a knife, baby. Yeah. So Bryan Adams did write a handful of songs where these guys wrote probably hundreds. Probably hundreds.
Cool. All right, gentlemen. Let's put a bow on this thing. Any parting words? You want to close this down here, Gathering, with your standard and patented outro?
I've got to say it. I'm happy to be here in Splinterlands. Guys, we are just getting started. We are in, I would say, the beta to maybe early unlimited phase, if you want to compare this to Magic the Gathering. So stay the course, keep on forging, have fun, and I will definitely be seeing you soon.
Bingo. All right, everybody. I
Bam.
think we are most likely going to take an episode off maybe next week, maybe the week after. Jimmy's doing some traveling. So we will be back within the next couple of weeks before the end of the presale. Hopefully you enjoyed this show. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you when we see you. You have been listening to
The People's Guild.
Welcome to the People's Guild.
Splinterlands. Pretoria.
For guests all across the mythical land of Pretoria, tune in.
Come in.
Welcome to the People's Guild. Another week, another guest.
Pretoria. Pretoria. Tune in. Come in.
Welcome to the People's Guild. Another week, another guest.